Dun-dun-dun. This is Sports Center. This just in, Isaiah Davis rookie cards are out. You can see it. Yep.
This is the Sports Timeout Podcast with Jensen Maydew, Tony Caranco, and your host, Wes Underwood.
And welcome into the Sports Timeout Podcast brought to you by Jefferson's Free Fried Pickle Fridays. And also, if you're a college student, 50-cent Boneless Thursdays are back. So, go check out Jefferson's today and get some wings before the big games tonight. And also, go check out Robert's Integrative Dentistry in Joplin if you're looking for a brighter, straighter smile. Be sure to schedule your appointment today at 417-622-0404. Wes Underwood here this week, flying solo and, was going to be at tea time tonight. Had an interview lined up and things went away. So, didn't go over there. But don't forget to stop by tea time with their new hours. Check them out. But, over there, get some Ghetto's Tacos when you're over there, too. But they're just south of Ghetto's Tacos. And, all right. Guess it's just going to be me tonight. Tony, Jensen, and Kennedy, Clint, all of them are busy this week. And, here we go. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe and follow button on YouTube. And, first up, we'll go NCAA top 25. And, we focus on the top 12 now as the college football playoff rankings are now out there. And, Oregon, the clear number one once again. Ohio State, number 2. Georgia, number 3. Miami, 4. Texas, 5. Penn State, Tennessee, 7 and 8. Indiana, 9. BYU, 10. Notre Dame, 11. Okay. And then Bama at 12. Or no, Notre Dame's 10. BYU's 9. Indiana's 8. Excuse me. And, 12 Boise State. Look, again and again, I say it's crazy that 8-0 Army is at number 25. I'd put them at the 12 spot, to be honest, and give them a shot. If they beat number 10, Notre Dame, in 2 weeks and win out, they're top 10 to me. Notre Dame's gone. They're top 10. Boise State at 12? Nah, don't like it. Top 20, yeah, for sure. And number 15 is where I'd like to have them, to be honest. And one in there, but one not in there. And that is number 20, Colorado. And if they win out, I say let them in. Okay? Go ahead and let them in, the top 12. If Prime can get his team to win at Texas Tech, if he can get them to win against Utah, if he can get them to win at KU, who's struggling home away from home right now, Arrowhead and Sporting Stadium, those aren't your home. They're building it, and we'll see what happens when they get back there next year. This has been a very down year for KU. Lots of high hopes and expectations. They're getting the new stadium, and then this happens. So, I don't know. And then if they can beat Oklahoma State to end the year, they deserve top 12. And they're also tied for second in the Big 12. So that's a pretty big accomplishment. Within a year, Coach Prime, what he's done with this organization has been phenomenal. He's been able to come in and turn around the culture, not turn it down, but turn it around and get the things going. Okay. Do more looking here, but I really do like where Coach Prime's heading with this club. Okay. Iowa State, Pittsburgh, 7-1. Both of them, I think, should be at least up in the top 15. SMU's at 13. They're at 8-1 on the way out, or on the way in, I guess I should say. But I mean, most of these teams weren't ranked, obviously, because this was the AP poll before the college football playoff, which is why I've been saying this whole time, like, I guess the AP top 25 is to get the thing started. I I'm not really certain why. Okay. There's the coaches poll. I feel like they should just keep and go with. Um, if you're a Mizzou fan, by the way, and Army's at 19 in the coaches poll. Mizzou's at 22. And then in the AP poll, the one that we've been going off of up until the college football playoff poll has come out. AP poll doesn't even have Mizzou in it. Okay. And this is where I don't like the Associated Press poll because Louisville's back in there at 25. Okay. They're 6-3. Vanderbilt, they're in there at 6-3. How does Mizzou just get ousted out of the AP poll? I don't get it. Like, if you're a Mizzou fan, you should be upset right now. 6-2 Mizzou, and they've got a tough schedule left too. And let's go ahead and look at their remaining games. Okay. All right. So Mizzou has OU this weekend, 6:45. Next week, they will head to South Carolina. Always a big matchup, always a tough shot. And then you bring in Mississippi State. They'll head out there on the 23rd, and they'll finish for Thanksgiving weekend. They'll finish against Arkansas at Faurot Field. Okay. So Coach Drinkwitz says Mizzou has their hands full with surging Oklahoma, and I would agree. I mean, if they can beat OU, if they can beat SC, and they can beat Mississippi State, and then win out against Arkansas, Mizzou's right back up there. Okay, you're looking if they can win out, you're looking at 6-2 in the SEC. Okay, and that puts them in good company because right now they have two losses. Arkansas has three, South Carolina has three, Bama has two, Ole Miss has two, Vanderbilt has two. Vanderbilt is looking good, to be honest. They have really turned that team around and what they've been able to do. But Vandy over Mizzou right now, I mean, let's look at it. 6-2 versus 6-3. Okay. Top 25, maybe one more big win. Let's go look at Vanderbilt. Okay, we're going to talk SEC right now. Being that we're in Mizzou, OU, Texas territory here, KU territory. I mean, we could go dip into the Big 12 if we need to, but let's look at this. Okay, Vanderbilt lost to Mizzou. Okay, so I don't understand anything on why you would put Mizzou below Vanderbilt. Okay, they've already won that tiebreaker. AP poll has them out of there, but college football playoff has them in the top 25. So I don't know. For Vandy, you get South Carolina, LSU, Tennessee. Two home games, South Carolina, Tennessee, and then at LSU. Yeah, that's going to be hard to win out for them. I could easily see them being 500 in the SEC. They pull off one more upset maybe, or even just win against South Carolina and lose the next two. But we'll see. Georgia, we'll go Georgia. They have Tennessee, uh, Ole Miss before Tennessee, but they have Ole Miss this weekend, Tennessee, Massachusetts, and then Georgia Tech. Okay. The last two for sure should be wins. Okay. We've seen crazier things this season, but those two should be wins. Mississippi, Ole Miss. Man, I don't know. 16, Tennessee 7. Tennessee's gone down, in my opinion. They've only lost one, but I think they're down, which they have them third in the SEC right now. Because Texas A&M and Georgia are at 5-1. Let me tell you, A&M is looking good. They're looking good. They have two losses, but they're looking good. Yeah, it's going to be a tight race. Any of these top three team, 4, 5 right there, LSU, Texas, Tennessee, A&M, and Georgia. If any of them lose one more, and Missouri's to win out, Alabama is to win out, Ole Miss is to win out, Vanderbilt is to win out, LSU to win out, Texas to win out. I mean, any of the teams under Georgia, if they win out, they're going for the SEC championship. I don't know if they're doing the top two. I don't know how they're doing that this year. SEC's so big now. It's just hard to see. And then we briefly talked Big 12 side. Okay. Um, let's go on over here to the top 25 and look at the Big 12. Because clearly Oregon's staying where they're at. Yeah, they've got, unless if Maryland puts up a game, Wisconsin puts up a game, or Washington puts up. Washington's their only threat, in my opinion. Let's look at this. Maryland. I mean Indiana, but they don't play Indiana, so I don't know. That's crazy. They might play Indiana in the championship game, um, over there. So Big Ten championship. We'll see. We'll see. But they're on thin ice because if they lose, Ohio State, Penn State are right there. And if any of these teams lose two more, Iowa, Minnesota, they're there. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Purdue 0-5, man. What happened? Nebraska 2-4, 5-4 overall. They're just trying to get a bowl game at this point. But as I said before, over to the Big 12. Okay. Over to the Big 12. All right. You have, I don't think Iowa State's the only one in the Big 12, right? Colorado, obviously, they're in the top 25. Okay. You got BYU. So BYU's in there. Gotcha. I'm still getting used to the Big 12. Still getting used to the Big 12. BYU at 5-0, 8-0 overall. Iowa State right behind them, 7-1, 4-1 in the Big 12. Colorado, 4-1 in the Big 12, 6-2 overall. So they're tied for second in the Big 12. Okay. Colorado and Iowa State. And Iowa State has KU, Cincinnati, Utah, K-State to finish out. Okay. Colorado, on the other hand, has Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. Let's see where that goes. Okay. Um, that's very winnable for Colorado to win out. Very winnable. Can it happen? Absolutely. Will it happen? Not sure. I'll see what they do against Texas Tech this weekend. The Red Raiders have looked lively lately. Yeah, because they're at 4-2, 6-3 overall for Texas Tech, and they did knock off number 11 Iowa State by one. So they've got Colorado, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia left. So Big 12 really up for grabs in my opinion. Lots to go on. Number 24 Mizzou takes on OU this weekend. That should be a fun matchup. Miami takes on Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's 5-4. Miami's 9-0. They deserve to be in the top 10 for sure. Georgia, number 3. I don't think so. I don't think so. But we'll see. We'll see. Moving along, we will now head into the NFL. And we talk the Commanders as they make a surprising push to pick up defensive back Marshawn Lattimore. And look, this team hasn't looked this good since 2012. Let's be honest. Okay. They finished 10-6 in 2012 and were coached by Mike Shanahan and led by quarterback RG3, who was the offensive rookie of the year that year. Okay. People are saying they are contenders for the Super Bowl this year, which this team hasn't even smelt a Super Bowl since 1991 when Joe Gibbs led them to the promised land. Yeah, it's been a while. To date it, when I was born, that's crazy. 31, 32 years. That's insane. And I mean, and look, what Dan Quinn has been able to do in just 9 games thus far is amazing. Daniels was the second overall pick in the draft. Williams was number 1, and watching him compete with a Hail Mary pass in the final seconds to win after the Bears were celebrating and taunting fans. You don't do that. You don't do that in the NFL. It always comes back to bite you in the butt. You just don't. It's like one of those unwritten rules. You don't go around taunting. Like, that's why when they're out there celebrating after a touchdown, or not even a touchdown, but like they get the defensive turnover, intercept the ball, or force a sack, and the whole team runs down to the end zone. Haven't people learned their lessons about running down to the end zone with plenty of time left in the game? It's crazy. I mean, it was hilarious and amazing at the same time because you're laughing at Chicago's players for taunting. And then how's that not a penalty anymore? You're taunting the fans. You're going like this to the crowd. You're looking around. I mean, excessive cell. I don't know. I don't know. Rules. I don't really know the rules, I guess, anymore, right? I don't think anybody does. Okay. But hilarious and amazing at the same time. So I like where this team is heading. I like what they're doing. I can see them making a deep run in the playoffs. But other than that, kudos for picking up Marshawn Lattimore at the deadline. Well done. Some other big moves made. Some of the teams were just trying to get rid of some guys and get some picks, and some of the teams were trading to make some moves in the postseason to get a win. So kudos to them. Next up in the NFL, we talk the Chiefs and Mahomes. And in Monday Night Football, the Chiefs got scared as Mahomes went down late in the game with an ankle injury and then came back to finish the game. And when you had a little bit of a roll, this is from Patrick Mahomes, it's a little bit sore, Mahomes said. But I'm able to move around and look forward to getting out to practice and see how I can push it as it is this week. So outside of that, we have a lot of angry people on the no call false start last week. Okay. Let's address this as a Chiefs fan. Um, was it a false start? Yes, it was. And here we go on the explanation here. Every line gets away with it a lot. Okay. My opinion, every time a player at Arrowhead, because it's so loud, taps the center on the shoulder to get him to snap the ball, it should be a false start. Okay. Reading the NFL rulebook here. Okay. NFL rulebook. Reading it, what I got as word for word. In the NFL, a false start is when an offensive player moves after taking a set position, which can include an offensive lineman moving their hand or a receiver taking a step. Okay. The penalty for a false start is 5 yards, and the play immediately ends after the penalty. Okay. And the purpose of the false start rule is to prevent offensive players from unfairly drawing the defense offside. It also encourages offensive players to maintain focus and discipline until the snap. Teams must communicate effectively to avoid false starts, especially in loud or high-pressure situations. In the 2023 NFL season, 618. There's probably more that weren't called. 618 false start penalties were issued, making it the most common penalty in the NFL. Look, okay, you're set. You're stiff as can be. You're the center. You got the ball. Your lineman looks over at you, gets up out of a natural position, looks over. Hey. Hey, buddy. Hey. Hey, snap it. False start, right? Every NFL team. Correct? I'm not wrong, am I? We see teams do this week after week after week. Seattle, Kansas City, Indianapolis, anywhere there's a dome, anywhere the fans are just going crazy. We see it all the time. These guys are jerking their heads and shoulders or arms, looking over, which is a false move, okay? If a defensive lineman showed undiscipline, okay, they're going to hop off sides. All right. So that's why I think it's a false start. Kansas City has seen this. I would probably say in Kansas City, you'd probably see that at least 15, 20 times a game, at least. There's probably more instances. Peyton Manning was notorious for his offensive lineman doing that when he was with the Broncos and a little bit with the Colts. The Colts, I think, were more disciplined. But once he got to Denver, I felt like he got worse on that because he had young linemen. He had some that were aged and he had some that were young. And the young linemen always tapped and moved and looked. Because if you get a couple taps in and you're still in your natural position, I guess, but then the head movement, you look over. A center, sometimes they look down and look back up that quick. Head jerks. Yeah, I can see that sometimes because, as a center, you're wanting to see if he's behind you or not, or if he's shifted because you can't hear. Okay. Centers, I get it because most of the time they've got their heads down. I think they look up to see who's coming or to read packages like blitzes and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. I guess that's just my definition, right? I don't know. Moving on. And, another women's professional sport is on the way. Okay. And this one I'm a fan of, but I'm a little confused at the moment. Okay. It's been nearly 7 decades since women in the US have had a hardball league of their own. Okay. Fun on words there. A league of their own. Good movie. Go watch it. Gina Davis, Rosie O'Donnell. The list goes on. The list goes on. But by summer of 2026, the organizers of the newly announced Women's Pro Baseball League hope to have 6 teams of women in caps and cleats competing on diamonds that have been used almost exclusively by men for nearly a century and a half. Okay. The explosive growth of women's college and pro basketball, along with the now desolating popularity of women's soccer, played a role in the boosting of baseball at the moment in women's sports. So, yeah, here's what the founder, Justine Siegel, had to say about it on Friday last week. This is definitely a great time for women's sports and pro sports as men and others have finally figured out how great women are as athletes, said Siegel, who was the first woman to coach a major league baseball team when she joined the Oakland Athletics organization in 2015 and now runs Baseball for All, a nonprofit that promotes baseball for girls. Okay. She also added, so it's just a great time to showcase our baseball players. And yeah, so they have 6 northeastern cities, stadiums, and sponsors. Might pale in comparison to the league's most basic need, but players with experience in America's pastime. No state offers girls baseball. Okay, this is where I'm confused, right? You've got softball. How are you going to transition these girls, young women, and women who have played for Team USA? Okay. How are you going to transfer them over to a sport where it's not going to be underhand? You're not going to have a softball and it's not going to be underhand. And I believe they're going to be using wood bats. Okay. It's not going to be aluminum. And I don't know. It's crazy to think about. Like it's exciting, but it's like they don't really have a plan. Okay. Because let me read this right here. And no state offers girls baseball as a high school sport. According to representatives at the National Federation of State High School Associations, okay, the NCAA and the NAIA have softball for women, but not a hardball, okay? But still baffling here. This is kind of cool. There were 1,372 high school girls who played on boys' baseball teams across America this last academic school year, according to the National Federation of State High School. So, yeah. And that surprisingly large number still pales comparison to the 471,761 boys who play baseball and the 3,000 or 300,000 plus girls who whipped softballs around the diamond this past spring. She and the commissioner insisted those 1,372 girls don't accurately reflect the true talent pool of girls and young women playing hardball outside of school campuses. There are girls playing baseball and local leagues around the country right now, Segul said. So, I mean, there's still a lot to be talked about. And yeah, Monet Davis was one that really rocked the nation as she went into the Little League World Series. And we've seen girls here and there in those sports. I think they're up to 12 and 13-year-old on that, but I don't quote me on that because I am very not knowledgeable on this topic right now. It just caught my attention and I thought we should talk about it. And I mean, it's going to be awesome once they have a plan. Okay. What, what women's soccer has done, what the WNBA is doing, what NCAA basketball for women has done, what the Women's College World Series has done has been awesome. Okay. But my thing is right now, is this going to affect women's college softball? Will softball still be an option? Will there end up being a pro women's softball league because you go up and play women's softball for your country? Okay. That's one thing I've never understood. And then you also play pool play and stuff like that and have those friendlies with other countries for softball. I don't know. It's just not as branched out as baseball because baseball, you have the World Baseball Classic, then you have the Olympics, and you have other stuff going on. It's just crazy. So I don't know. I feel like this needs a little more thought process behind it. I think that just everything that's going on here for women is awesome, obviously. It's great that we're finally starting to get it. But I think if you're going to propose something, you are going to have a little bit more solid of a plan. Just point blank, simple. I love what they're trying to do here. I really do. I've been saying it ever since I've seen the movie A League of Their Own. I, I've been kind of thinking to myself, like, why don't they have that anymore? Where did that go? It's crazy. It's crazy. Another thing that's crazy, we're going to go over to the NBA here, and we are going to talk the Warriors and other teams as well. But we're going to talk NBA 2 weeks in. And are the Warriors a dominant team again? Looking at how they handled the Celtics yesterday or this past week, Celtics now have 2 losses. They're actually down to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are another team that we could talk about. 9-0. Where did that come from? Like, here we are trying to figure that out last year. Here we go. Last year's stats. Cleveland Cavaliers. Where did they finish? 48 and 34. 16 games back of Boston, who was the front runner last year. And they were behind Milwaukee, New York, obviously the Celtics. And then they were also behind Oklahoma City, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, Clippers, and the Mavs. So the entire Western Conference was better than them last year, pretty much, that were in the playoffs. And then 3 teams in the Eastern Conference were better than them last year. Okay. That's crazy. That is crazy. The Cavs are 9-0. Don't know how long this streak's going to go, but it would be awesome to see him keep going. This would be the first winning team since LeBron, really. Even the 2 times that he's been there, because they struggled in the times that he was gone. They have been on the up and up within the last couple seasons, and I like what they've been doing. Boston, they're now 2 games back. This time last year, they were on a win streak. The Pacers, the Nets, the Hawks, and then you have the Knicks. But here's the other thing. Like, the Knicks The Hawks, the Nets, and the Pacers could all swap positions by the end of the day, and Chicago could go from the current potential 8 seed all the way up to the 3 seed. So that's insane. Yeah, it's early in the season, but we're already almost 10 games in. There's about 70 something games left in the regular season now. That's crazy. Couple weeks in. Let's see. What is it? 70, so 82? Yeah. So they got about 72 games left. It's insane. That's just the Eastern Conference. Let's look at the Western Conference. The Suns, the Thunder, and the Warriors are all tied for first. Okay. They're all up there at 7-1. And then really 2 game spread here. Like it's not super close for the 1, 2, 3 spot. But I guess if people started losing, yeah, okay. Lakers, they can't find themselves. This was supposed to be Bronny and LeBron's year, and now Bronny's overseas and he's doing what he's doing. Clippers could end up in there. San Antonio could end up there. Portland and the Pelicans. I'm not really liking the Jazz right now. 1-6, 5.5 games back from first place. I guess that's not as bad as the Eastern Conference where Philadelphia 1-6, Milwaukee 1-6, 2-7 Toronto, 2-4 Washington, 3-6 Detroit, which here we go. Like all these teams from Toronto all the way up to Pacers could potentially be a 3 seed by the end of this weekend. It's crazy. It's crazy at what it could be. Yeah, right now, my dominant teams, Cleveland currently, okay, 123 points a game. Boston, 122 points a game. Indiana, 118 points a game, okay? Um, Next we have the Warriors, 121 points a game. The Nuggets, they're at 5-3, but they're putting up 119 a game. The Kings, 118 a game. So even the conference leaders in Phoenix and Oklahoma City, they're putting up 114 a game. So you're getting a show. The Suns' downfall is they're allowing 110 points a game. So that might come to bite them later. They're on a 6 game winning streak, though. Thunder are on a 1 game losing streak, and the Warriors are on a 5 game winning streak. Obviously, Cleveland leads with a 9 game winning streak, and Chicago is also on a 3 game losing streak. I mentioned that because we're in Chicago territory. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a long NBA season. I think your top 3 in Phoenix, Oklahoma City, and the Warriors are going to be your top 3 in the West. Your top 2 are pretty solid in the East, unless if injuries kick in. I like Boston and I like Cleveland, and that's where I'm sticking there. Um, as for the Pacers down all the way down to Philadelphia, I don't know. That's going to be an interesting conference this year. Eastern Conference is going to be fun. Chicago's going to navigate around Ball being injured. They're going to navigate around players needing to be helped. They're going to probably be hitting up 76ers or the Bucks if they continue at the pace that they're at for some players so they can make a run. Teams like Brooklyn, Indiana, the Hawks, the Knicks, I mean, the Heat. Oh man, don't even get me started on the Heat. They did D Wade wrong. They did him dirty. They did D Wade dirty. I'm not the only one to think that either. So I don't know. It's going to be different. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot going on in the NBA right now, and I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. If Clint were here, he'd probably be very happy about it. I mean, Milwaukee's down though. I think he's a Bucks fan, but overall, I know he's a Dallas fan. So, and Dallas isn't in terrible position at the moment. So, I don't know. There's a lot going on here. A lot. But yeah. All right. Are we ready for the good stuff? Now we talk soccer, and that's brought to you by the Corner Kick in Neosho. Be sure to stop by the Corner Kick located at 1411 Blue Oak Lane, Suite C, Neosho, Missouri. They have the largest soccer store in Southwest Missouri, Northwestern Arkansas, Southeastern Kansas, and Northeastern Oklahoma. Be sure to check them out Tuesday through Sunday for your football needs. And, last week we saw the Kansas City Current wrapped up a historic 2024 season. Sunday against the Red Stars, and the team set NWSL and club records for wins at 16, points with 55, goals with 57, number of goal scorers at 18, and not to mention the individual records set by forward Timeout Chawinga for single season goals scored at 20, goal contributions at 26, consecutive games with a goal at 8, and for being the first player to score against every other team in a season with 10 plus teams. Now, the Current are focused on the 2024 NWSL playoff presented by Google Pixel this weekend. The fourth seeded Kansas City Current will host the club's first playoff game at CPKC Stadium Saturday, November 9th at 11 a.m. Central against the 5 seed North Carolina Courage. And it's going to be an electric game. It is. And just like the beginning of the season, the hype is high. It really is. And we will be sending 2 lucky people. We'll be finding out later this afternoon. But 2 lucky people to experience this historic match, to feel that energy, to see how the Current perform under a big crowd. And I mean, the list goes on for this season for them. Everything they have done has just been awesome to watch. And I am so excited for them. I can't even express it. From the top of the organization all the way down. Class act. We mention it week in and week out. And I don't know. Like, it's amazing to watch and amazing to see, but it's really cool that this is happening in Kansas City after the stadium's been built. We know they had that historic run 2 seasons ago, and then last year they had all the injuries and just things just kind of went everywhere. They really did. And then there was a little bit of hope at the middle of the season, and then that went away too. And to see the recovery from that and the electricity that the fans have put into this stadium, as well as the players, I'm excited for playoff ball in Kansas City. Baseball has been electric. Football has been phenomenal. AFC Championship games, World Series, postseason runs, all that stuff has been fun to watch. And to hear the news of the possible women's basketball team coming there last week and then seeing this week, it's just Kansas City's going to be something different. 11 a.m. start. Things are going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait. Also, get there a little early. They're wanting people to acknowledge Timeout Chawinga's accomplishments. Very well deserved. Golden Boot winner, probably MVP of the league. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And that says a lot with Trinity Rodman being there, Mallory Swanson, and others. Like, come on. That's awesome. Like, those should be your shoe-in names, but hi. Tim Watt comes in out of nowhere, stealing the show, and slowly does it all season, and just helps this team break record after record after record. And I can't wait to see the records after the season. I can't. We talked about records. Kansas City's notorious for them. We'll see. Lastly, in soccer news, the San Jose Earthquakes signed Bruce Arena to be the team's sporting director and manager. And the former LA Galaxy and United States coach told ESPN on Wednesday that was going to be happening. So Arena's dual role is similar to his previous stops with the Galaxy and New England Revolution, with general manager Chris Letek retaining his position, but now reporting to Arena. And a club source said it is still to be determined what staff members will be retained. So Coach Arena is 73 years old. He'll take over as the San Jose, or he'll take over a San Jose team that went through a brutal 2024 campaign and finished last in the league with only 21 points from 34 games and a record of 6-25 and 3. The second worst point total was by Chicago Fire FC. But yeah, look, I don't know how I feel here. By this, I mean I don't know if it's an upgrade or not. Did he coach Team USA? Yeah. Did he have some success with the Galaxy in New England? Okay, sure. He was all right. So I guess this is a step up from where San Jose was to end the campaign this year. At least you'd hope, and I guess it couldn't hurt in that situation, right? Especially being dead last in the MLS. And I mean, we'll see where it goes here. And as a sporting fan, I understand the move. In a time like this for the team, like, come on. We're begging here in Kansas City, but I guess we'll see where Sporting is going to go with their new front office. Well, couple of positions. We'll see. We'll see where they can get them next year. Vermes isn't worried. So, yeah, we'll see. But kudos to San Jose. Maybe something will change. Maybe the ship will steer in the right direction from here on out. We'll see. We'll see. San Jose, good luck. We'll see how it goes. And lastly, soccer news, local soccer matchups, districts continue. Um, State matches are coming up. Be sure to tune into teams' pages for that. And well, we'll head into the local sports update brought to you by Trackside Burgers. They're open at 1515 West 10th Street. Go get some weekend barbecue today or tomorrow. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. Stop by Trackside. Get Chef Mike's specialties over there, especially before the Joplin Eagles go beat Kickapoo. I hope. You would hope. They did really good in the regular season. So, yeah, get on over there. Check them out. Well, Moso women's basketball will hit the road again this weekend and take on Concordia University in Warrensburg, Missouri at 1:30 p.m. And then tomorrow they will play against Henderson State at 11:30 a.m. The men will head to Russellville, Arkansas to play in the MIAA GAC crossover. They will take on Arkansas Tech at 7:30 p.m. tonight and tomorrow against Southwestern Oklahoma State University at 2 p.m. Then football will host Kearney tomorrow in Joplin at 2 p.m. And then MSSU volleyball will hit the road to take on Northwest Missouri State at 6 p.m. tonight and tomorrow against Missouri Western at 6 p.m. So, yeah, go support Moso, help them out, get things going for them. They've had some pretty good seasons, except for obviously football, and volleyball's had a good turn lately. So they're on the up and up. Soccer finished out their season. They lost to Pitt State 1-0. And we'll see where they go next year. Two wins this year, lots of ties. Not very many losses, so that's good. That's a step in the right direction. So Moso women's soccer, be on the lookout for them next year. Let's see how they do. Kennedy Williams on this show. She's a co-host fill-in, and we support. We support. And well, on that note, we'll head into the 2-minute warning brought to you by Ghetto Tacos. On Friday, get 10% off burritos all day long. And they close at 7 p.m. Located at 536 Northeast Street, Webb City, Missouri. Drive-through available at 417-717-1261. Make sure you stop by and get some food. The asada fries, the new California burrito. Yeah, the list goes on. The award-winning molita. Oh, yeah, so good. All right, high school football picks are here. And again, it's districts, and Joplin will host Kickapoo. I have Joplin here. Tony's got Joplin. Jensen's probably got Joplin. Clint's probably got Joplin. We'll give him Joplin. Webb City heads to Graham Valley, and a grinded out on the ground, probably kind of night for both teams. Set to be rainy up there. Both teams do have a decent run game. We saw that last week with Webb City as they ran out the clock. They were able to score a lot and get the ball moving and matriculating down the field. So we'll see what they have in store this week as they head to the Valley. And Carl Junction, they'll host. Oh, sorry. I'll take Webb City here in a close one at Green Valley. I'm sure everybody else agrees with that too. Carl Junction will take on Bolivar. And man, both teams are 6-4 here. Carl, upset. Bolivar used to be really good. I know they're good at basketball. So Seneca will host Aurora, 9-0 Seneca. I'm going to take Seneca at home. And Carthage will host Neosho. Does Neosho get their revenge? Does Carthage win and move on to face the winner of Green Valley Webb City? See? Man, last week I slept on Neosho. They dominated Raytown South. I'm sorry, Coach Towdy. I'm sorry to the guys down there. Carthage. Hopefully in a close one. Hopefully. All right, well, the music's here, so it's the end of another episode. For Tony, Jensen, Clint, Kennedy, and myself, have a great weekend. Make sure you go get some food from our sponsors. Hopefully going to be up at the match tomorrow. Tune into our Facebook page to get updates on that. Planning on having some festivities and, talking to some fans and looking at the hype of the NWSL semifinals. So hope you all have a great weekend. See you next week on the Sports Timeout.